Watch me make the coolest of folios. Stick around and learn how you can enter to win this Steampunk Dragon folder. Okay, supplies needed is some cardstock, some plain paper, string, a closure, and some glue. Optional for this is some ink, stamps, embossing supplies, rivets, and some sort of closure device like a magnet. So let's do a walkthrough real quick on this. This folio is really cool. It's got a Steampunk Dragon stamp that's sourced from TEMU. I ink dyed the string. This cardstock is some I found on clearance at Michael's last year. This metal charm is on the outside and a little magnet on the inside. And it's hidden underneath that piece of cardstock there. And it's got that cool dragon stamp on there again. On the inside is the same cardstock pad. Had some tags in there and some other little ephemera that I cut out and stamped on the inside of this. This homemade paper pack notebook is from a roll of craft paper, also found at Michael's. And I just cut some pieces out and sewed it together. There's that stamp again. And some more little ephemera pieces from that cardstock. Stick around to the end and enter to win this Steampunk Dragon Folio. Cool snap that just closes it so nice at the end. Before we get started, I want to show you this cool stamp I got from TEMU. I'll leave the product number that I used down in the bottom in the comments section. And let's get started. So I started out with this paper pad I found on clearance from Michael's. It's called the Magical Woodlands Recollections Edition, and I got it on clearance, the whole pack for $5. It's got a whole variety of plain paper, pattern paper, and ephemera pieces in here, and wasn't really quite sure what to do with it. And when this project for this folio came up, I figured it'd be perfect. So this is one of the ephemera pieces that came out of here. It measures 4 by 4. And I think it'd be a perfect size to do this folio on. So I cut this piece here. It's a 12 by 12 piece from the same pad, 12 by 4 inches. And this is what we're going to build our folder on, is this piece here. So we're going to crease it in a couple places and make our folds. And this little ephemera piece here is going to be glued at the top. So I'm going to make a crease at the top about a 1/4 inch. And that piece will be glued on to the longer piece. And the stamp that I have is about 5.5 inches long. So I'm going to measure down. So I'm going to measure down about 5 3/4 of an inch to do the crease at the bottom. And this will be the bottom of the folio once it's folded. And then I'll be cutting off 2 inches off the bottom of this. And keep that piece, you're going to need it for the magnetic closure. So here's this long piece and the edge where I cut that 2 inches off of. And so when it folds up, this little piece will get glued on here to the top. And this is kind of how it'll look. So early stages here. So I'm going to do a little stamping. This is all optional, but I decided to decorate mine with this dragon stamp that I found on TEMU. So I'm just going to go through this and stamp this up real quick. I found this generic stamping platform last year on Amazon, and the little standard grip mat that's on here I got at the Dollar Tree, and it holds my cardstock and paper items that I'm going to be stamping on in place pretty well. And I replace it if they get dirty, so they turned out really nice. So this is an ink I'm using. It's from scrapbook.com. And when I'm using new stamps, I'll usually either rub them with my fingers or I'll get the ink pad and kind of rub over them and get some of those inking or the oils off from manufacturing. And then I'll ink it up really good, and then I'll go ahead and ink my project. So I'm putting this little piece on the side here because my stamp is bigger than the card that I'm stamping, and this will help protect the mat underneath. And so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp all of these layers really quick. And here's this big dragon stamp. So I'm just kind of rubbing my fingers over it, rubbing off some of the machine oils. And I'm placing it right over where I want it. And you press down there, then you ink it up. And I ink it several times. There's a couple spots that was missing on this because this is a large stamp. I want to make sure I got everything. And here we go. Look at this. Didn't this turn out so cool? Just love this. All right, so I'm just going to dry it really good because I don't want to stamp the other side, the dark side, until that's dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on my mat again. I had cleaned the stamp, so there's no more ink on here. And I'm laying it on here again exactly on that back section, pressing it down. And here's the Boston ink that I'm using. And it's a WOW brand. And so I'm just going to put this on there. It's kind of a sticky, clear substance. And so I'm going to do this several times until I get it as much of this embossing ink on here I think as I need. So look at that. It looks really cool so far, but we are going to emboss this with gold embossing powder. And it's also the WOW brand. And so I put this over a piece of paper that's going to pick up all the extra, and I just kind of pour out nearly this whole entire jar on top of this and douse it down really good. And it's all collected on that paper underneath, and I'll pour it right back in the jar so we can reuse it on future projects. So I want to cover this really good, make sure all that embossing ink is has a good douse of this powder on it. And I'm just going to tap that powder off. Okay, let's put this away for future use. Goes right back in the jar. Get every last little bit. There we go. All right, so I put down a Teflon mat here. Heat resistant. I have my heat gun, so I heated it up for about a minute or so and just placed it on the card. And I'm going to speed through this because this takes about a minute to do this large project. But it's so cool to watch this just come to life. Look at this. Isn't it so pretty how this just melts and this gold highlights? I just started heat embossing last year, and I just love this technique. Take a look at this. This Steampunk Dragon just pops up off this piece of cardstock. This is really cool looking. See, it's dry already. I touched my fingers to it, and it is on there. And here's the back side. All right, so I'm just going to ink around these edges really quick. Just give it a little bit of color on the back side since this was a one-sided cardstock. And so I just use that grape color of ink and just kind of splouch it around everywhere. Then I glue this top piece down on here after I get done inking it. Alright, just using my precision tip glue here and just putting some glue right along this edge. And this is going to be the top flap for our folder. Just dab that in here really good. It's going to get a lot of use, so I want to make sure it had that. And go ahead and line that up, put it on there, press it down nice and firm. And I'm just going to fold this and press it down a little bit more. Make sure that glue is stuck all the way across nicely. Okay, just checking it out once it's dry. Looks good. So I found my camera turned off when I was making this paper notebook here, but it's real easy. Just need 6 pieces of paper, 7 by 5.5. Fold them in half, and I used craft paper roll from Michaels. It's from the children's section, and it's very, very affordable. So I cut sections out of here. So I folded these sections in half, and I attached them by sewing it down the middle. You can also use glue and just glue the little section right here also. I'm going to put a hole on the, about 1/4 inch from the end on each end here. And this is where I'm going to put my string through. And I'm going to line those holes up and put holes in this folder also. So here's my string. I didn't have any string that matched, so I just got the ink that I was using around the edges and just put right on an ink pad. And just inked up this string, and it matches perfectly now. And so just run it through here. Here's what it looks like. Looks like a mess. It's a little wet, so I'm going to get that heat gun that I still have out and just blow it really quick and dry it so it's ready. And this ink dries really, really quick. Okay, so the holes that I punched into the card here, I put some metal rivets in. If you don't have rivets and you just want to glue your folder in, that's totally fine also. Just do it along the spine edge and to the edge of the folder. That way you can still see whatever designs that you put on the back of your folio. And it kind of opens up like a book along the edge. So I'm just stringing this through. And this holds this little paper notebook in really well. And I'm just going to close this, turn it upside down, and tie a knot and then a bow in this. And it gives it a nice look. And so I ended up double knotting it and double knotting the bow on here and trimming up the string a little bit there. Let's get rid of that. All right, this turned out really cute so far. So I want to embellish the inside a little bit more and put that magnetic snap on. And so here's that extra piece that we cut off beginning, that 2-inch strip off the bottom of our long section, and the little magnet I'm going to use, and a little ferrous metal piece that sticks to it. Check your pieces because some of these metal findings are aluminum, which is not ferrous. So you want to make sure whatever you find will stick to your magnet. So I'm lining this up here, and I want that magnet to go underneath that top flap. So I'm just putting glue around this piece, and I'm putting a little extra glue around that magnet that I've already glued down because I don't want it to come loose and slide out. And go ahead and slide that into place here, and I went ahead and pre-marked it on that paper. Can't see it because of the dark cardstock. And I'm just lining it up there and put it into place. And that clip is just holding that folder together so it doesn't come open while I'm working on it. And let me go ahead and take that off. And for this metal part, I'm just going to put it right on top, and the magnet's going to tell me where to glue it. And that's right where it's going to land. And you can see it kind of slide there. So I'm just going to put the glue, big dollop on there, and then I'm going to decide to put a little bit of glue on the piece of metal also, because it's going to get a lot of use as the opening latch. And I'm going to leave a little bit of that hanging over, just a little something to grab when we open up that folder. All right, I'm going to let this sit for a bit and let that glue dry. Here we go. Take a look at this. Didn't this turn out so cute? I love the Steampunk Dragon. And the texture of this embossing is really, really neat. So on the back side here, it gets this cool magnetic snap. Do you see how that just popped open? Just love that. And it's hidden underneath here. You can't see it. And on the inside here, I had stamped that little piece there. And here's the further embellishments. It's from that same cardstock pack. And these tags are also from that. And left the top here for some further embellishments. And this whole pack I left blank except for the front and the back. And this little piece here, I didn't glue it at the top so tags would fit in. There we go. Just love that dragon. Here we go, let's close that up. And it just snaps shut just like that. Is this the coolest thing or what? Remember, stick around here to the end. I want to tell you how you can win this. I'll be drawing a name at the first week of July 2024. I want your name to be in it, so here we go. Chance to win this cool folio is so easy. All you need to do is subscribe and comment, I subscribed. All right, I'll catch you on the next craft.